Hi, so my name is Ajeet, and just a little introduction about me. So far, I've got around six internship offers, and I had joined four of them. Also, I got three full time offers. Also, as a result of those internships and those offers, I was able to make a decent amount of money in the last 3 years. So I'm telling you this not to show off, but to make a point that what we can achieve through open source in 3 years. Also, especially in my case, the background I come from and the college I come from, achieving all of this in 2.5 to 3 years was, at least for me, was next to impossible because I had never thought that I will ever be able to do all of that. If I be honest with you, then my initial plan was to get around 4 to 5 LPA job at any company because at that time I was very desperate to get into tech, and I was thinking that okay, I will just get into tech and then I will go for something bigger. So that was my plan. But fortunately, the 4 LPA thing, I was able to get it in my second year itself as a stipend of my first internship. And all of this was possible through open source. That was the best thing that happened to me. I was able to contribute to open source, and I was able to uh, connect with some really cool people who introduced me to some organizations and to some really cool open source projects that led me to some really great opportunities, including an interview at Lovable. So I will tell you more about this Lovable thing later in this video. Okay, so these are some direct results that I got from open source. But there are also some indirect results that I got. And in those indirect results, one is like connections and recognition. So when I started contributing to open source, people started recognizing me. I mean, people started kind of making a connection, and I was able to make connection with maintainers and CTOs and even CEOs of couple of companies, even YC-backed companies. So and those connections really help me whenever I either want to get an interview or want something else. Then pinging those people who I already know makes it a lot easier to get something. And the second thing I got from open source, and that is a strong profile. So uh, I still know that there was a time whenever I used to apply for an opening, then there used to be 100% chances of rejection. Because at one point I was getting rejected from almost any opening, and then shifted my focus from applying to started contributing to open source, and for around 1.5 year I just contributed to open source, and all the experience that I got from open source I mentioned in my resume and my portfolio. And as a result of that, I started noticing really great results from the openings. Like most of the times, my profile started getting selected, and also once I sent my profile to the founder of Lovable, and it was selected, and I was able to land an interview at Lovable. So the strong portfolio and strong profile is the second indirect benefit of open source. And the third indirect benefit of open source is that whenever you see an opening, a job opening these days, 99.99% of the times you will see a line there that if you have done open source and if you have contributed to open source, then it's a plus point. And most of the time I get that plus point because it really makes your profile unique when you have already contributed to some open source companies, especially the competitors of the company that you are applying for. So once I had applied for a payment company, and fortunately I had already made contributions to a similar payment company that was based in Europe. So my resume was shortlisted, and I was able to get interview really fast, just because of those open source contributions that I had made to that payment company. Overall, I mean, my whole point is that the ROI that you get from open source is not limited. So you won't even believe where open source can take you in the next 1 or 2 years. But all of this journey, all of this open source journey so far was not easy, to be honest. Because especially in my case, when I had no senior or not someone to whom I can go and ask something, there was always a problem of doubts. There was always a problem of not having a human feedback. So everything and anything I have learned so far was a is a result of observing things and observing people, like how do they do it, and how they are making contributions, and how are they tackling issues. So when we contribute to open source, there is not only one problem that we face. There are a lot of problems that we have to go through, and couple of those problems are like not able to find the project. So that is the first and the one of the most complex problem when we contribute to open source. So because let's say as a new contributor, we don't even know like which project we have to contribute to. So but to be honest, initially it doesn't matter much, like you can contribute to any open source project depending on your tech stack or on your preferences. But again, it's still an hustle kind of thing, because we are not able to land on a good project. So that is why I had created open socks, and I'm still working on that. So but I will explain it later, like what is the role of open socks and all of that. But that was the first problem, and there is a second problem also, like when we are very new and when we contribute to repositories that are pretty famous and very complex code bases, then we face a lot of competition or a lot of saturation, because there are a lot of people who are making contributions parallelly, and and there are and there we have to make contributions, right? As a beginner, so it creates a lot of problems for us, because we are not even able to fix smaller issues, because for each issue there are a lot of people already competing there. So that is the second problem. There is also a third problem, and that is getting overwhelmed. So basically, when we are new and when we have no experience to open source, we easily get overwhelmed by all of these things, because there are a lot of tools, a lot of practices that we have to follow, and also there are a lot of things that we have to know, be it technology or be it patterns that that particular organization follow. And also each organization or each open source project has its own technologies, has its own paradigms of contributing the code to it. So it makes it really hard for a new contributor to start contributing. It takes a lot of months for them to get started with open source. There is one more very painful problem that we face while contributing to open source, and that is not getting attention of the maintainers. So imagine you work on something for weeks, and when you raise a PR, then there is no one to look at that PR or to review that PR. So that's really painful. And in most of the cases, it's not the mistake of maintainers; it's the mistake of contributors. So either they have chosen a wrong issue or something that's not important, or and there are 1,000 reasons by which it can happen. You may not get the attention that you need. So it is really demotivating and disappointing when you work on something for so long and no one look at it. So these are these are kind of problems that most of the people face when they are new to open source. So to document everything what I have learned through open source, I'm going to create an open source series of around 30 to 40 videos. And in this series, I'm going to explain everything in details, from finding projects to finding opportunities in open source companies or organizations. There are two reasons why this series contains 30 plus videos. Number one, this series is for absolute beginners or the people who face problems while contributing to open source. And the second reason is there are a lot of smaller details that matters a lot, but most of the times it is either ignored by people who already teach on YouTube, or it is mostly unheard. It is not documented. So that is why this series is going to be long enough to contain everything that is important for a beginner or the person who is facing problems to understand. Okay, so now let me walk you through this series and we will see what we are going to cover in this. So the first module is going to cover introduction and announcement. That is this video itself. And so basically, whatever I am going to explain in this series is going to be universal for every open source project or open source program. So it will work for GSOC, LFX, MLH, and for everything. So there are going to be more of a fundamental thing than a particular program thing. The In the second module, we are going to see what are the things that we need to know before jumping to open source. So there are a lot of things that we already have to know. Like there may be some tools or there may be some practices. Also, we need to know a couple of other philosophies that really work in open source. So in the third module, we are going to cover the basics. So basically, we will see what we have to do. I mean, what will be the prerequisites and what are some tools and tips that we need to follow. Uh, See, any absolute beginner can do open source, but there are a couple of uh, things that we have to do before contributing to open source so that we can save our time and we can avoid making those silly mistakes. In the fourth one, we are going to explore open source projects. So in this step, I'm going to explain that how do we find projects. I mean, how do we properly explore without getting overwhelmed? Also, what are the resources where to explore those open source projects? In the fifth module, we will see how to select the projects to contribute. Many people have a notion initially that we can or we should contribute to any open source project. But that's not very much true. I mean, not all the open source projects fulfill your needs, that your objectives that you have. So we will see how to make our criteria and how to find projects based on our criteria in this fifth module. There are going to be a couple of these ad hoc videos or ad hoc modules. And in these modules, I'm going to explain a couple of things that are not very much related to this 30-day series, but they are important. So this ad hoc video will be related to how to set up projects locally. And to be honest, I mean, many of you guys won't believe that there are a lot of people who give up on a open source project because it's actually hard to set up that project locally. So you might have noticed that something like that. After that, in the sixth module, we are going to see how to introduce yourself and basically be familiar with the code base and maintainers and all of that in the open source projects so that you have a better start. In the seventh module, we are going to find issues that we have to work on. So there are a couple of things that we have to make sure before picking our first issue. And unfortunately, most of the time on YouTube or whatever, people say you can just fix the documentation, but it's not the case. Not all the time you have to fix the documentation as your first issue. You can actually pick an meaningful issue uh, as your first issue and you can fix that without any problem, right? I will tell you how to do this. After that, there is one more ad hoc video. So in this, we will understand that how to learn anything fast. So what happens in open source is that, like, we have to learn things really fast because uh, people will not wait for you to learn and then code it. So otherwise there will be someone else who will code it in place of you. So we have to learn things really fast, and I will tell you like how do I learn while contributing to open source, and also I will show you how I mostly pick a technology and then learn it step by step. We will have to pick our first issue. So, and also in many open source projects, getting an issue assigned is also a kind of challenge. So we will see how to do that and how to convince a maintainer to assign you the issue so that you can work on that. Also, in many of the organizations, the assignment kind of thing is not required. You can just pick issue and just fix it. So in both the cases, we will see how to tackle that. After that, in the ninth, 10th, 11th, and 12th modules, we are going to make live contributions, or we will pick an issue or a feature, and then we are going to implement it live. So in that, I will show you how do I approach open source issues and how do I fix them, how do I raise a PR and then ask the maintainer for reviews. So that will be covered in 13th module. After that, in 14th module, we will cover how to tackle competition in saturated orgs. So as I have explained already, like there are a lot of times there's a a lot of competition. So we get overwhelmed because let's say we pick an issue and someone has already raised a PR within first hour. So these kind of things happen, and there are a couple of smaller tips to follow uh, in order to tackle the competition, especially when you are new. See, when you are already experienced person and when you already have a decent enough experience in software engineering or in open source overall, then you may not need to know all of these things. But when you are absolute beginner and when you are struggling to make open source contributions, in that case, this 14th module is going to be really helpful for you. After that, in 15th module, we are going to pick our second issue, and this issue is going to be a medium one. Initially, we had picked an easy one, so that would be easy to fix. But after that, we will pick a medium issue. So, uh, so I will show you like how do I approach the medium or hard issues when I have to fix them. And also there is one more thing, like whenever an issue is either medium level or at a hard level, then in that case most of the times we are not fully sure. Like in case of easy issue, we can just raise a PR and we can just fix it without asking the maintainer or without asking for any other thoughts. But in case of medium to hard issues, actually we have to get a sort of green flag from the maintainer, because it requires some sort of discussion or some sort of plan before working on that issue. And it is actually important because let's say you picked an issue, a hard one, and you worked on it for around 3 to 4 weeks and you raised a PR. Then you got to know that okay, the maintainer is not satisfied with your plan. So to avoid such kind of cases, we have to plan it before actually raising a PR. So this is what we are going to do in this 16th module. After that, in 17th, 18th, 19th, 20, and 21st, in these 5 days, we are going to fix this medium level issue live, and I will approach this issue step by step, and I will show you that how do I fix these kind of issues and obviously implement such kind of features. After that, in 22nd module, we are going to raise a PR and we will try to get it merged. Sometimes it take a lot of time to get the reviews and get the PR finally merged, but I will keep you updated with all of the issues or all of the pull requests that we will raise throughout this series. After that, in 23rd module, we are going to discuss how to make impressive contributions. One thing that is really important to understand, if you want to get opportunities in open source, then we have to be impactful contributor. It's not like we keep on making trivial contributions. Obviously, they count, but we have to shine. We are not there for bare minimum. We are there for the maximum that we can get. So for that, we have to make impressive contributions. So now you may have a question like, what are the impressive contributions and how to make those? So that is what I am going to explain is in this 23rd module. And in this 24th module, I'm going to explain the second part of this, how to make impressive contributions. So because this is a big topic and it will be there will be a lot of details in both of these modules. So that is why I have to divide it in two parts. After that, in 25th module, we are going to pick our third issue, and this issue is going to be hard one. So we will pick this issue, and again, we are going to fix it live or implement that feature live. And till the 29th module, we are going to implement this hard issue. In the 30th module, we are going to raise a PR and we will try to get it merged on time so that I can show you that it finally got merged. And if it didn't, then I will keep you updated through either on Twitter or somewhere else for all of these issues that we will fix live. And in the 31st module, I will explain like how to get jobs and internships through open source. And all of these things, like how to get jobs and all of that, these are more of a my personal documentation. I'm not an expert or uh, a teacher kind of person, but still I will explain how I got all of that, and also whatever I have learned so far from open source. So I will cover all of that in this 31st module. Also, there are going to be couple of bonus videos or couple of ad hoc videos. So if I forget something in this list, then I will cover all of that in this 32nd module. And in that, mostly I will cover the questions that you guys may ask, and also some common doubts or common questions. So we will see that in this 32nd module. Finally, if you like, you can subscribe, and see you in the next video.